person pushed against my knee and it tore my MCL.
Bone broken on this hand.
Caused my knee to collapse.
So what are the most common injuries in martial arts training?
Probably the most common injuries are going to be ankles and knees and toes and the things that we stand on, because we kind of forget that when we move around that we have to make sure that we keep our base under us. So a lot of people turn and they'll twist their leg or their knee.
If you have been injured, there's some injuries that can wait and some injuries that can't wait. So the things I want to talk about first, the injuries that cannot wait. So if you're hit in the head and you have any sudden onset dizziness or what doctors call focal deficits, so any sort of neurologic finding that is concerning. So you have facial droop, you can't see out of your eye, it's difficult for you to lift your arm, anything, slurred speech, anything like that needs to be seen by a doctor immediately.
So what are some techniques that students can practice to try to prevent these injuries?
The biggest thing you can do to prevent injuries is to warm up properly and to stretch properly. So when we stretch, actually a lot of people don't realize they'll injure themselves by stretching too much or too far, because your muscles, they do like this, and if you stretch it too much, then that's how we get tears and things like that. So you want to stretch just until it's uncomfortable, not until it hurts.
All right, some of the warm-up exercises, especially, this is for kids, but most kids are so pliable anyway, they don't think they need to warm up. It's always a good idea to get the heart rate up a little bit, but start, I guess, with simple exercises of joints. So we like to do one where we rotate the knees around in a circle for about 20 seconds, then rotate the opposite way to help with the joints, and it also helps with the ankles. And then another one would kind of rotate the hips in a circular motion, same way, without using the upper body very much, and rotate both directions. This helps loosen up the hip sockets. And then there's the opposite of one where you kind of use the upper body and try to stabilize the lower body. So you're kind of working your way from the ground up.
So one of the stretches you can do is you can spread your feet out this way. And again, you don't want to go too far, just enough, and you can put your hands straight down. And what we do with the kids, because this gets a little bit boring, is we'll walk our hands forwards as far as we can go, and then walk our hands back as far as we can go. What you're doing is you're stretching all back in here in those muscles so that we don't pull them when we go to do our kicks and moving around.
Yeah, we go through a whole thing from top to bottom. So head goes side to side, get the neck loosened up, shoulders getting loosened up, and we'll do all the things back and forth like that. Upper body rotations, like Sensei said, hip rotations. So we work from top to bottom, and that kind of gets the blood moving. After that, we usually do like jumping jacks, maybe a minute or two of jumping jacks, just to kind of get the blood circulating, get the heart pumping. After that, it can go 1,000 different directions. Sometimes we do line drills up and down the mat where we're doing punching and kicking combinations. Maybe we'll do running back and forth up and down the rows, forward, backward. We'll do bear crawls, we'll do crab crawls, all the different things. I mean, we try to get, for the first 20 or 30 minutes of class, get the blood pumping, because that blood pumping pushes all of the energy to the extremities, and it loosens everything up. When you're cold, if you will, stretching doesn't have very good effect. Sensei does a really good stretching routine that we do standing up, where we'll stretch the legs in a bunch of different directions. Then we'll sit on the floor and stretch again, stretch the lower back. But it's better to do that when you're warmed up after the blood has been circulating, because now the muscles are a little more pliable. But yeah, I mean, our warm-ups kind of span the breadth of all kinds of activities just to kind of keep the body moving. We do conditioning drills here.
That, and then they kick the side kick, things like that to get the contact thing going on in there. And then the partner drills. Sometimes we do simple things like from a push. We'll slide off and work things like this. Another push. I'll do one here. You can do something else if you want to. So those are part of conditioning and warm-ups. They're not really applied. So it's important, especially the older we get, that we warm our bodies up more. But even for the kids, they still need some. They come in here from school or home or wherever. They need a routine of exercise, not just come in and start kicking and punching. So they have to get warmed up.
Other things that need to be seen immediately: if you're hit or kicked, or you're sparring and you have a sudden pain and you see a deformity, so like your arm's no longer straight, there's a bend in your arm, anything crazy like that, obviously needs to be seen immediately by a physician.
How does strength training help in karate and martial arts?
So strength training is really important because what happens is people who are very, very flexible and they don't have the muscle to back it up, it's easy to make injuries as well because things will pull too far. And so to have that muscle is important. A lot of people, they'll go to the gym and they'll lift weights and they'll do things like that. What we do in our classes, we don't do as, our adults do some weights, but we don't do a whole lot of weights. What we'll do is we'll use our body against us. So we'll do push-ups and sit-ups and exercises that'll use our body weight to build that muscle.
All right, strength training in martial arts. When I was a very young, fresh black belt, my macho answer was, nah, you don't need all that. You just need karate. But that's not true. Your strength training obviously has a great effect on what you're able to withstand as far as punches, kicks, so forth, and also what you can do to an assailant if they're trying to subdue you. The more strength, the better for those who can do it. And myself, I'm not a very strong person, so I have to depend on technique and whatever strength I have. But yes, strength training is important because it's going to cut down on your injuries, and that's what we're talking about, is the ability to continue your training no matter what you do. Baseball players, football players, soccer players, volleyball players, ping pong players, all these are susceptible to certain injuries, especially without warming up. But the more contact sports, such as martial arts in general and in particular, would be you want to last as long as you can through the years. I've been doing this since I was 23. I think I was 23 when I started, and I'll be 73 in a couple of weeks. So it's like been in it for about 50 years. So I've received a lot of injuries, most of them non-life-threatening, but some of them pretty painful. You got a comment you want to add to that?
Sure. With strength training, you can't see it from this camera angle, but on the other side of the room, we have a whole variety of weights over there that we can use: kettlebells, medicine balls, dumbbells. All of those, they develop the muscles, but just as importantly is they develop the connective tissues in the body as well. And as we get older, our muscle size, our muscle density tends to shrink anyway. So keeping those muscles active, and you can do it with body weight stuff too. We can do squats, we can do push-ups, things of the sort, and those things also help develop muscles. But more importantly, they develop the connective tissues. A lot of times people think that muscles are good for striking, but Sensei delivers a very powerful punch, even though he's not big muscular guy. Same with me, I'm not a big muscular guy, but I can also deliver a nice strong punch because of the development of other like the connective tissues, relaxation and strength in terms of throwing a punch. So the muscle training or the weight training does have its benefits, and as we get older, it probably is more important to do that kind of weight training than not, simply because our bodies are weakening as we age.
And the young are naturally strong anyway.
Right. Those young bucks with all the testosterone, I envy them now. Now that I'm in my 50s, it's a lot different situation where push-ups and squats and things like that, body weight types of exercises, are a lot more important to me now than maybe they were 20 years ago.
If you have this sort of nagging injury that's been going on for a while, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Honestly, the sooner the better with these sort of things. If you sustain an injury and you think it's serious, I would always just exercise caution and be seen by your primary doctor.
But you want to get your heart rate going, and you want to stretch enough that you're not going to hurt yourself. So we have different ways of doing that. In our adult class, we have a standard drill that we do that we call aerobic drill, just to get your heart rate going. And then some of our stretches that we do. And with the kids, we'll usually do some running or some jogging or some jumping jacks or moving around, something to get you moving and get your blood pumping, and then stretch for a couple of minutes before we really jump into anything that's gonna be more difficult to do. All right, I'm gonna walk you through the warm up that we do in our adult class. So it's kind of like our standard aerobic drill, okay? So we face the front and we do double punches like this, and we'll count to 8, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we do chops out to the side, and the whole idea is just to get moving. And then we go to one side, and we count to 8, and then we go to the other side, and we count to 8, and then we do blocks back this way, There you go. And then we do blocks this way. And then we do punches this way. And then we do punches this way. And then we switch hands. And then we come back and we switch hands. And then we do elbows back like this. So we get everything moving. And then we do kicks. And then we do a whole bunch of these. And then we jump up and down. And then we go down, and we do push-ups. And we do a bunch of those, and we put our feet up, and we go up and back. And then we come all the way up. And then from there, then we'll go into our stretching.
So we learned that we gotta eat properly, stretch properly, and as always, fight with heart, stay safe.